has to do with the polity and the stature of the people and the respect that they have. And, again, kill another sheep. It does seem to me that Article 5 and the requirement for 38 states dooms any truly substantial amendment, right or left. And that, with the Akhil Amar, I believe that we, the people, ultimately would allow a legitimate convention to propose popular ratification. James Madison himself, like most people of that era, recognized or claimed that a basic right of we, the people, was to alter and abolish our forms of government when they were no longer efficacious. We all have our favorite Federalist papers. I love the end of Federalist 14, where he says that what makes Americans Americans is that we're not bound up in our respect for names or for kind of ancient tradition, but we think for ourselves and forge new paths and learn lessons of experience. So the real question is, what have we learned after 220 years? And it's that, I don't think that everything in the Constitution is defective, but I certainly think that very important parts are defective. And the other really great Federalist paper is Federalist number 40, in which Madison basically justifies the setting aside of restraints imposed by Congress about what revision means, or putting aside the Rhode Island veto with regard to unanimity. And he says, in essence, we're in a time of emergency. And I think there's a certain kind of schizophrenia in some of the discussion, that if we really do believe this is a time of crisis or emergency or even exigency in the late 18th century sense, then you really rise to the occasion, which is where the framers are most inspirational. If, on the other hand, you think we should be trapped within what I really do describe as the iron cage of the conventional notion of Article 5, then you've got to believe that all of the talk about emergency, crisis, even exigency is just so much political rhetoric, that things are really, good enough. We've muddled through in the past, we'll muddle through in the future, and lighten up.
Okay, so we're going to go to questions, and we have mics here. People can come to the mics and ask your questions. I ask you to identify yourself before you ask your question. I ask you to recognize there are lots of people who want to ask questions.